Hello, a quick update, although a lot of my videos tend to go on far too long, but I'll do my best. You will have seen from the various posts that we've had good success with the Kalesh horses who came here to live with us, and I'm going to be in touch with the young American women who want to help us from the States when they return. So if they're watching this video, I haven't forgotten about you. We've discussed it at length, and I'm going to get back to you to see how we can work cooperatively. Also, we have a donkey waiting to come in from Etoria, who a very good young man is looking after it in the meantime, for which we're very grateful. Ayub is going out over the weekend to bring 2 donkeys and a mare back from Taradont, which is close to Agadir. It's a long way away, so perhaps that will suffice. And there are a couple of others waiting as well. And you will have seen last night that we admitted George. And I'll just tell you a little bit about George because it's quite important. George belongs to Pat Banner, who is a great supporter of ours. And over the last few months, she has become one of our trustees. She's strong, she's principled, she's ethical. And I think she felt extremely embarrassed that she had to phone us and ask if we would help with her donkey when she had been quite critical of other charities who didn't deliver. But the reality is, George, who is quite spoilt, and he's a donkey who lives with Pat and her family, and he loves to pull a cart. The cart isn't heavy, he just loves his cart. And he pulls it about 3 times a week, usually under the supervision of the head gardener, who wasn't there, and 2 young boys decided to take him out with his cart to remove some weeds. The minute he got through the gate, because he loves his cart so much, he took off with the cart, running with the cart behind him, and he slipped and he fell and broke his leg. I tell you that because some important things have arisen. It was early evening, 6:30ish. Everyone had gone home. We closed up the refuge as best we can at night. And when I got this phone call, I phoned Ayub straight away, and he said he would come straight back in and bring Abdani with him. And remember, Abdani has a young family and his wife is pregnant, having a very difficult pregnancy. But they came in willingly and happily and went over to Pat's to see to the donkey. It took an hour to get there, and they were working on the donkey for 2 hours, applying a Berber splint that has very much been developed by the boys here and hasn't been used in the way that we use it on donkeys before. And it's remarkable that we have had some success with broken legs. Not always. Sometimes if the break is so bad and infections got in, however hard we pile the antibiotics in, septicemia can step in, and we don't have success in every case. But anyway, George came back here and he arrived and was settled down by midnight. So it was a long evening, and then they had to start again at 7 o'clock the next morning, but they remained cheerful throughout. And I've had a long conversation with Pat about that. I think several things have arisen. We have to keep going because the reality is, although other major charities will say that we all have to work together to save the animals in Morocco, the working animals I'm speaking about particularly, not the dogs and cats. We agree, but people have got to work with us. They've got to phone us, they've got to contact us, they have to ask us, they have to speak to us, and that just doesn't happen. And we end up in the position that you so often see us in, as being the only port of call, particularly out of hours and at the weekend. And we're not prepared to compromise what we do. We do what we do from a strong ethical base, and we will continue. But Pat and I were discussing after the accident that happened to George, we are going to have more staff. And I don't see any point saying, I'm shutting our doors, we're giving up. We're good at what we do. The boys are good at what they do, and I support them to the hilt. And therefore, we have the space to grow. So I'm going to concentrate this next year much more on fundraising, because we wouldn't be without where we are without the support of our regular supporters, but they can't be expected to fund everything. That's just not fair. So you will get the same relationship with me through the videos you've always had, but I'm going to have to look at other sources of funding. And people are coming up with ideas, and that is absolutely great. And one of the things I wanted to float past you was that people could get very tired of me sitting here day after day, virtually saying the same old thing. And how did we get here? How did we start? What do we do? It can get a bit boring and repetitive. But we had a history before we came. And I'm considering starting another YouTube channel separate from the refuge, when I can go back over my legal career and we will talk about tales from the bar. Now that may be attractive to a whole new audience who aren't that interested in donkeys, but when they know the connection between the work I did at the bar as a barrister and the work we do now, it all begins to make sense. And if you can really break through on YouTube in that way, you can begin to monetize your channel. So I think that's worth a shot. And I think some of you who now know me quite well might be quite interested in my stories from the past. And I was involved for the last 5-6 years in Morocco with a fascinating case involving the English jurisdiction, the Moroccan jurisdiction, that quite frankly would make an amazing novel. But I don't have time to write the novel at the moment, so I'm going to tell the story online to all of you. There will be a channel just for the donkeys, and we will continue exactly as we are, telling you what we do, why we do it, how we're expanding. And then there will be a channel which is a more general channel, which is about those of us that came from England, what brought us here, the work we did before, and how the two have become very interlinked. So by all means, do give me your views. Again, I say every time, thank you, where would I be without you? And I promise you, however tired and bad-tempered and weary I get, we will not give up. We have built something here in Morocco that will outlive me, it will outlive Charles. It is our heritage and our gift to Morocco. And you are all part of that community. And I hope that when the pandemic's over, I'll be able to write more personally and individually to all of you. So bye for now.